Welcome back to Movies TV Mad, and of course you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Saturday's edition of the dceu Daily. Yes, why do WB hate Superman so much? Well, there's a link into this discussion today, and it goes with this revelation for Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois Season 2, Supergirl's Jenna Dewan returning as Lucy Lane. Jenna Dewan is set to reprise her role as Lois Lane's estranged sister Lucy on the upcoming second season of the spin-off Superman and Lois by Brennan Klein of Screen Rant. Jenna Dewan will be reprising her role as Lucy Lane from the CW Supergirl on Superman and Lois Season 2. The spin-off series, which premiered in February of this year, follows Tyler Hoechling's Clark Kent and Elizabeth Tulloch's Lois Lane, who were introduced in Supergirl, as they try to balance the stress of being new parents, working as journalists and saving the world, all the while handling their teenage sons developing superpowers. The series also stars Eric Valdez, Indy Naravati, Wal Parks, Adam Rayner and Dylan Walsh, Emmanuel Chikri and Jordan Alas and Alexander Garfin as the twins Jonathan and Jordan Kent. Superman and Lois Season 2, which was greenlit back in March, while the first season was still airing its earliest episodes, is currently filming. The CW hasn't announced an official premiere date yet. Though the show is set to arrive sometime in early 2022, the story will follow from the Season 1 cliffhanger, which involved the surprise appearance of Natalie Taylor Buck, Lois and Clark's daughter from another universe. Teen Wolf star Ian Bohen has been added to the cast for this season as well. I don't actually think she's Lois and Clark's daughter from another universe. She's Lois's and Wal Park's character, right? If that's what I got right, because I only saw the first 5 episodes because it wasn't available to me after that. Per THR, Jenna Dewan is being brought on to revive her Supergirl character Lucy Lane. In the new season, Lucy is Lois's estranged younger sister and a major in the United States Army. I'm going to explain to you why I'm unhappy. After this article, Dewan's role will be recurring, which means she won't be in every episode, but will likely have a major arc in the event of this season. By the way, she'll be a regular in Season 3. Again, I'll explain to you why I'm pissed off. The character of Lucy Lane was introduced in Supergirl Season 1, though she hasn't been seen since the conclusion of that 13-episode season. Over the course of those episodes that gradually transitioned from enemy to friend, helping out Supergirl and her team when National City is challenged by a seemingly unstoppable evil, her character is one of several actors and roles that got lost in the shuffle when Supergirl transitioned from CBS to the CW after its first season. There are currently no details about how Lucy Lane's character will have changed in the years between her final appearance on Supergirl and now. In the comics, Lucy Lane eventually becomes Superwoman, so, God's sake, I didn't even know that. So it will be interesting to see if she will have taken on that mantle before joining the series, or if that will play a part in her arc on Superman and Lois Season 2. Regardless, fans are likely to rejoice at the additional crossover between the two series, especially considering that Supergirl is going off the air with its series finale on November the 9th, 2021. So, looking at the fact that she actually becomes Superwoman in the comics infuriates me even more. But this is linked into today's title and talking point. Why do WB hate Superman so much? And so, let's look at Superman and Lois. I enjoyed the first 5 episodes. I was rejoicing in the fact that many Superman fans for once liked the version of live-action Superman. But I'm going to be ultra-critical here and say that Superman and Lois really isn't a show about Superman. There was this whole story about Superman's brother, half-brother, and him, disguising as a human being and then revealing himself and him being the enemy of the season. But really, all of that was just subplotting, because the central elements of this show were Lois Lane and the 2 sons. Now, don't forget, Jordan isn't in the comics from what I know. It's Jonathan Kent who becomes Superboy, and now in the comics is actually a new iteration of Superman. And so, right, we know what they do in Arrowverse. What they do is they sideline the central heroes, and they have Team Arrow. Team Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. And this is what they're attempting to do with Superman and Lois. So we know, I think, that General Sam Lane stepped down at the end of the season. As I've already said, I didn't see it, but I think that's what happened. So, surprise, surprise, who's going to be the new General Lane? Lucy Lane. Of course she is. So, again, it's part of their propaganda. It's what we discuss here all the time. They're going to sideline Superman with a Team Superman. So we've got Wal Parks and Lois Lane's daughter from Another Earth coming, right? Another strong female. And I think, has she got abilities? I can't remember. And then we've got this one, right? Lucy Lane, who's apparently destined to become Superwoman or become Superwoman in an iteration of the comics. So that's another character. Basically, what they're doing is they're going to have all these characters, Jonathan, Jordan, Wal Parks and Lois's daughter, you know, Lucy Lane, and they're all going to be there. So already we're overfilling the cast list with characters, and Superman will become sidelined. You know, Wal Parks and Lois Lane's daughter, she'll be a thing. The twins, there'll be another thing. Then there's Sarah, Lana Lang's daughter. And then there's Lana Lang's husband. So where's the room for Superman in this series anymore? We're seeing fly, we're seeing being Superman now and again, but it won't be his show. This was never his show. From the moment they titled this show Superman and Lois, I knew what they were going to do. We know what the CW do. Arrow, great first 2 seasons, crap, dominated by the Olicity shipper shit. The Flash, a great first 2 seasons that really looked at the comics and did something amazing. And we're going to a direction like this again. You know, having many characters that no one's going to give a shit about. And this is why I'm asking the questions. Why do WB hate Superman so much? We've got a great Superman in Henry Cavill. Where is he? He hasn't been seen since 2017. Missing. If anyone's seen Henry Cavill's Superman as Superman, not the fucking Witcher, or in Mission Impossible Fallout, but actually as Superman, please let me know, because his family are very fucking worried about him. You know, WB hates Superman. And so now we're getting a Val Zod, who isn't Clark Kent. We're getting a Superman of colour. These are all good things. But where's Superman? Where's the iconic Clark Kent Superman? They're doing away with him. It looks like it anyway, doesn't it? We'll have to wait and see what happens with Cavill's Superman. And they're doing this with this series as well. That, you know, this is the thing for me. They hate Superman. You know, they blamed Superman for the failure of Justice League, and it's going on and on and on. I'm not looking forward to her coming back. They're literally going to do the same shit with Superman and Lois as they did with Supergirl. How many bloody team members have they got in Supergirl? And they sidelined Supergirl. That's the major criticism from fans of that show. And there's many things you can lay at the table of the failure of that series, and none of them are Melissa Benoist's iconic character. Tyler Hoechlin is a great Superman, but anyone with man at the end of his name, because he's a man, you know, it triggers them. You know, this political element, this extreme left element of the entertainment industry hate men. So he's going to be sidelined. It's obvious. So we've now got a powerful woman as General Lane, Lucy Lane. That's the position she's going to take. They're not telling us that. They haven't been fed that information. I haven't been fed that information either. But it's pretty obvious to me. So this is what they're doing. So we know we're going to have to hear how great Lois is and how great Lucy is, how strong, powerful women they are. And then there's Wal Park's daughter. We're going to have to hear how great she fucking well is, right? And then we've got Sarah. We're going to have to be told how amazing she is. You know, how many characters does a Superman show actually need? Now, if we go to Smallville did it the best way. They had a lot of supporting characters. We had Jonathan, Martha, Lionel, Lex, Chloe, Pete at one point. And then we had Green Arrow, but the central point was always Clark. Tom Welling worked extremely hard for 10 years on that show, and he had to film the most sequences. It was Clark's show. And in the early years, it was Clark and Lex's show, because that was the concept of Our Miles, the trials of Lex Luthor and Clark Kent, which is absolutely fine. So as many supporting characters that Smallville had, it never crowded out Superman, Clark Kent. He was the central character, and that's right, and that's proper. But in these shows, and they're all as guilty as each other, I think the only one is Black Lightning that actually allows Black Lightning to be the central character, even though it's got some very strong women in that show. You know, Cress Williams' Black Lightning is the character. And I'm still really annoyed that they're cancelling that show. So Smallville did it right. And the original movies did it right. All 4 movies of Superman, Superman Returns, all about Superman. You know, who would come in to watch a Superman movie if Superman's not the central element? Who's going to keep on supporting Superman and Lois if Superman and Clark Kent are as phased out as Supergirl and Kara were in her show as well? Nobody wants to see this, but they keep on doing it. What they do is they trick you in the first season or so. They give you an awesome version of these characters and you think, wow, this is awesome, I have to come back and watch more. And when you do, it turns into a shit show. And this is what WB are doing again, representing strong, powerful women, which is great. But don't forget Superman, right? But you are going to forget Superman. You are going to sideline Superman. I have to ask the question, did Superman and Lois need twins? Why couldn't we have just had John Kent? In fact, it would have worked better and been cleaner. Now, I know the dynamic between Jonathan and Jordan is pretty neat, and it's good. But could you live without it? I think you could. Could you live without it and have more Superman and Clark Kent? I think you could. Because after all, aren't you watching it for Superman? Yeah, you are. There's never been a television show or a movie that sidelines Superman before, but this is what the CW do. This is what Greg Berlanti does. So as soon as I heard this casting, I knew. And of course it's more of a connection to Supergirl, which is a problem to me, because it was a problematic show. But that isn't the real problem. It's what they're going to do with this character. And she's going to be annoying, of course she is. She's going to be arrogant, she's going to be annoying, she'll probably put Superman down all the time, because this is what they do. They write and develop female characters to put down the men and take over this iconic character's show. This is the plan here. I was always wondering, would Superman and Lois have 2 strong seasons or just 1? It's interesting because the showrunner who's running this did 2 awesome years of The Flash. So, although there were criticisms with The Flash season 2, I didn't agree with those criticisms because I thought it was as awesome as the first series. But there you go. It'd be interesting to see what they actually do. But this is the CW. This is exactly the direction they always go on. So we are going to go for another show, a CW DC show with Super Friends in it. So let's count. Let's see how many characters are in this show that are going to overshadow Superman, right? Just to tell you how stupid this is, right? So we've got Walt Parks, his daughter. Lois Lane is a part of Superman's life. That's fine, right? You've got Lucy Lane. You've got Jordan. You've got Jonathan. You've got Sarah. You've got Lana. You've got Eric Valdez, who plays Lana's husband. I love him. That's what, 9 characters, 8 characters, whatever? You know, correct me in the comments down below if I've got my numbers wrong. 8 or 9 characters just there. So what the fuck is left for Superman to do? Please, someone explain to me. So this is utterly disappointing. We know exactly what they're going to do. And the continuation of the destruction of the 21st century entertainment industry, destroying iconic characters because a lot of them are men. But they don't think they're biased against just towards men. They destroy iconic female characters. They destroyed Linda Hamilton's Sarah Connor in the recent Terminator movie. And they'll keep on doing it because they don't understand. Take Desperate Housewives. I know this is nothing to do with DC, but look at Desperate Housewives. That show is probably more representative and inclusive of strong, middle-aged married women, and probably the strongest women in live action, either in a movie or a TV show, more than today, which they claim they're representing strong females, well, those females were actually strong. The females you're actually depicting and writing today are not strong. They're just hateful, arrogant women. That's all they are, that nobody could ever possibly like, let alone remain fucking married to or date or even be mates with. So there we are. The destruction of Superman and Lois has begun. WB hates Superman. That's it. And someone, I think it was Soups the other day, said this and made a great point, because they kind of name-dropped Superman in Eternals. That's getting too much hate from critics, by the way, and doesn't deserve its low Rotten Tomatoes score. But anyway, and Soups said, you know, Marvel are giving Superman more love than WB and DC. It's true. It's true. Now, I don't know how they're allowed to mention him, but they did. They even mentioned Superman like for a few seconds in Raimi's Spider-Man, first Spider-Man. You're not Superman, you know. Do you remember that when he's in hospital? So, yeah, it does seem that Marvel, I mean, I can just imagine. I criticise Disney and Marvel Studios a lot, but I've also said this a lot. If Feige and Marvel Studios own Superman, which is not possible, of course, although anything's possible in life, but WB would never allow that to happen. They'd just rather hold him hostage and whine about how he can't be relatable and he's hard to write, which is bullshit, of course. But if Feige and Marvel Studios actually own this character, he would be fucking front and centre. His own movies, recurring everywhere. But not WB, not DC, because they hate Superman. Well, I love him. And it's very sad what's being done to him in the comics and in live action. Did you really think that Zack Snyder was going to promote his brand new movie that he's produced and co-written, Army of Thieves, and not mention the DCEU and not tell you what other plans he had for them? Yes, Zack Snyder's at it again. And by the way, in terms of Army of Thieves, I've watched about 30 to 45 minutes and I am loving it. Mateus, whatever his name is, I can't say his last name. He's starring in it and directing it. He's fabulous. Zack has found a like-minded director who has directed a beautiful movie, by the way, and I suggest you go and watch it. It's interesting, isn't it, that entertainment media reacted to Zack Snyder via BVS, thinking he's this idiot, he didn't know what he was doing, this madman going off on a tangent. But in fact, he directed 3 amazing DC movies, 3 of the best DC movies of all time, and thanks to them, and it is thanks to them and some of these fans, right, who conned Warner Brothers into driving him out the studio, he's got a Netflix universe now. He's got the powers of Netflix to do what he wants with his kind of IPs that he's creating. Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon, and it's awesome and it's exciting if you're a Snyder fan and if you love stories. So Zack Snyder had plans for Riddler and Catwoman in his DCEU. In fact, we know in BVS that Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne is in bed with a woman who we don't see who she is. We don't see her identity revealed, and I always thought that was Snyder's version of Selena Kyle, but I guess we'll never know. Director Zack Snyder reveals he originally had plans for Batman characters including Catwoman and the Riddler to appear in his DCEU projects. Hasn't he mentioned the Riddler before with the anti-life equation in his Justice League sequels? I think he has. By Elliot Griffiths of Screen Rant. Zack Snyder has revealed several characters he had plans for in his Justice League universe, including Batman villains Catwoman and the Riddler. The director began his foray into DC in 2013 with his Superman film Man of Steel. That may actually be the last, standalone Superman movie we ever see with our Superman. How sad. Following plans for an extended universe, Snyder returned to direct Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice in 2016, then prepared for the ultimate DC team-up in 2017's Justice League. However, behind-the-scenes problems and a personal tragedy led to the filmmaker to exit the project, and Warner Brothers drafted in the Avengers Joss Whedon to reshoot it. Snyder's original plans for the epic movie were ditched and reworked into a streamlined theatrical cut that flopped with audiences and critics. Following years of fan campaigning, Zack Snyder's Justice League, a 4-hour director's cut epic, I'm saying that, finally released earlier this year on HBO Max, leaving fans clamouring for more from the retconned continuity of the Snyderverse. It hasn't been retconned, you idiot. Catwoman and the Riddler, two of Batman's oldest adversaries, were both introduced at the start of the Caped Crusaders comic run in the 1940s on screen. They were two of the rogues featured in the original 1960s Adam West TV show played by Frank Gorshin and Julie Newmar. Respectively, both villains are considered iconic foes of the Dark Knight, with Catwoman being modernised on screen by Michelle Pfeiffer. Halle Berry, you actually put Halle Berry in the same sentence as Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. With Anne Hathaway, while Jim Carrey offered a retro, campy Riddler in 1995's Batman. I actually enjoyed his Batman. I mean, his Riddler. So let's say that again. While Jim Carrey offered a retro, campy Riddler in 1995's Batman Forever, while Catwoman got the gritty realism treatment by Christopher Nolan in The Dark Knight Rises, the Riddler has yet to return to the big screen. That is until both Selina Kyle and the Riddler were confirmed as characters in Matt Reeves' upcoming The Batman. Zoe Kravitz will take on the role of the feline femme fatale, while Paul Dano plays a scarier, more cerebral version of the puzzle-based villain. In an interview with Bro Bible, Snyder detailed his plans for the two villains if he'd been allowed to carry on his vision for the DCEU. Snyder confirmed that Catwoman was someone we talked about and that he also had a Riddler concept. Going into detail about the latter, the director explained his plan. Riddler was kind of like the one who figured out the anti-life equation. Yeah, he's mentioned this before. In the spec scripts, referencing the plot points introduced in his Justice League movie. The comments reveal that Snyder had a lot more planned for Batman and his rogues gallery, with the Penguin also confirmed to have been in the director's thoughts. The Riddler's role with Darkseid's anti-life equation plot may have eventually morphed into the part Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor played. No, not at all. You got it wrong. But the villain was certainly likely to have a presence down the line. Ben Affleck's Batman solo film planned to see the Snyderverse version of the character come up against multiple villains, including Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. But the project was eventually cancelled and replaced with the new Robert Pattinson-led film. Snyder's version of the future DCEU may not ever come to being, but fans of the director's cut of Justice League are desperate to see the auteur reinstated. The same fan campaigns that caused the so-called Snyder Cut to be released in the first place have switched their focus to continuing the story with the hashtag #RestoreTheSnyderverse, popularised online. While the introduction of a new continuity with the Batman causes doubt, the multiverse concept and return of Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck's Batman in The Flash give fans hope of seeing Zack Snyder's vision for the Batman villains to reach screens one day. There was a time to finish off this Justice League saga, and it was back in the continuation of 2017's Zack Snyder version of Justice League. There was a time to green light this when Zack came back and, he got his Snyder Cut green lit. And that was about Zack behaving and keeping it stum. And it was about Ray Fisher behaving and keeping it stum. You're in the industry, they hold the power, they hold the IPs, you got to watch your mouth. They didn't want to do that. They thought, right, we're getting this movie, let's use it to expose these people who gave us a hard time. And they did. They plumped for revenge, and now Restore the Snyderverse is unlikely. I'm not saying you shouldn't hashtag it, go for it. I still do now and again. I want to see those Justice League movies. The point being, they had an opportunity to either go for revenge during the build-up and marketing to the Snyder Cut, or really do themselves justice and ingratiate themselves to the studio. Because there's no question the Snyder Cut's been very successful and made a lot of money. So it's a shame. So it's unlikely Restore the Snyderverse will ever happen. Why? Because Snyder is now at Netflix doing his own thing and doing it wonderfully. When's he going to find the time to restore the Snyderverse? It's going to be very, very difficult now. There was an opportunity for Snyder and the studio to behave like adults during the green lighting of the Snyder Cut. And unfortunately for the fans, who are the ones that always get hurt, that opportunity wasn't taken. And finally today, this is my final segment where I just have a little discussion with you lot. How will you feel? As excited as I am for The Flash and Aquaman and Black Adam, What other? And the Batman, of course, 4 movies next year, not including the exciting stuff on HBO Max. But how will you feel as a Superman fan? And I'm a huge Superman fan, as you know. If Superman's not in the Flash movie, Henry Cavill's Superman is not in that movie. Now, I'm led to believe already Superman's been cut out of the Flashpoint story, because it looks like Sasha Calle's Supergirl is being, is replacing Flashpoint Superman in that universe, and is going to be Flashpoint Supergirl. I don't even think there is a Flashpoint Supergirl in the original Flashpoint story. I could be wrong, but I don't think there is. So they're already replacing Superman there, or so it would seem. I can't see who else she could be playing, unless, because we still don't know what Keaton's Batman is doing in a Flashpoint scenario. Now, obviously, if you change the past, obviously, when things are kind of reset, it's very feasible for Keaton's Batman to be in a Flashpoint scenario. Flashpoint is Earth 1, is a new interpretation of Earth 1, when Barry goes back in time to save his mother and change things, of course. But he could actually be in the Keatonverse, so she could be connected there. Nobody really knows, but to me it seems like, Sasha's Supergirl is Flashpoint Supergirl, which means we won't get a Flashpoint Superman, unless we will, which I fucking doubt. So already Superman's been replaced there. How will you feel when we get to the Flash movie in the first act, and most of the Justice League actors are there, and we have to assume that Ray Fisher's Cyborg wouldn't be there. So how would you feel that in this film they say, oh, Superman's not here, he's off-world somewhere doing something, right? How are you going to feel? Or what if the rumours and sources, the rumours I'm being fed by my sources, that Henry Cavill's Superman is being recast? I can live with a recasting and having Superman in a Flash movie rather than no Superman at all. Because if Superman isn't there, and that would mean Henry Cavill or another actor, I don't really care, right? The point being that Superman must be in this Flash movie. If you're going to have Wonder Woman, right, and you're going to have Aquaman, and you're going to have the other Justice League members, don't forget there's not many members at this point, because when we start the Flash movie, it's really using the Snyder Cut as canon and the previous DCEU movies from that moment. So how will you feel if there's no Superman? Superman's off-world somewhere, they say. No Superman, but everyone else but Superman. How will you feel? And then you can see again what I was saying on the top of the show, that they're sidelining Superman, that they are willing to bring a couple of Supermen of colour in, which is great, which I keep on saying, but they're sidelining the iconic Clark Kent Superman. And then you have to ask why. Well, you don't have to look very far to know why. You know what the agenda of the people who have, taken the entertainment industry hostage and removed the word entertainment from it. You know what their motivations are. So it's up to them. Because I believe if the Flash movie doesn't have Superman in it, and you can say, well, it's a Flash movie, it doesn't have to. Yes, but it's going to have all the other characters in it, right? So how dare they not have Superman in it? I'm not saying this is fact, I'm just saying it cannot be defended if you've got the other Justice League members at the beginning of the film in the first act, but you don't have Superman, played by whoever, hopefully Henry Cavill. And so here's the thing, that cannot be allowed to happen. He has to be in that movie. But of course, what's very interesting, of course, we will know by that time, when the Flash movie comes out, if he was in Black Adam. And if he's not, and who knows what's going on, then you have to say, right, so we've got 2 Supermen who are not Central Universe Supermen, but they won't use the main Superman. And being coy about this and not telling us about Henry Cavill's future or lack thereof is a pivotal thing. And so eventually they will either have to tell us, or we'll find out. Because we'll find out if he's in Black Adam or not. We'll find out if he's in the Flash movie or not. But right now it's really looking that Superman, the main central Superman, is being sidelined. And for me, this is unacceptable. And also, this will bring a lot of negativity to the Flash movie. And these people running this universe now, this IP and franchise, can't afford any negativity. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Please like, share, comment. Most importantly, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll be back tomorrow on Sunday. Yes, Sunday. I'm here 7 days a week for even more DCEU Daily. Until then, goodbye.